We'll start a timer for this too, because fucking why not? We always need a timer. We always need a timer. Okay. Why is it as bad as my fave? I think it's good. We're ranking I thought this the other day and I haven't done it. We're ranking every single remembrance, weapon, spell, and talisman that you can get in both the base game and the DLC. We're gonna rank both of them all together because I used one of the ones on this list for a run and it was horrifically bad, and I wanted to rank it mostly so I could rank that weapon specifically or spell specifically. That's the main reason we're doing this. The rest is all byproduct because I feel like we can, but yep. What'd you say? Oh, there's someone in the community, Specs Rays, who goes by a different name now, who is also doing Gladius speedruns. So I don't know if you're on PS5, but if you are and you want to do a partner, they might be available. Okay, we start where it makes sense to start. And then eventually it won't make any sense later on because none of the rest of this is in alphabetical order. But we start at A. We started A with the ancestral something horn that I don't actually remember the name of. This restores FP when things die near you. You know what else exists? The Blessed Blue Dew Talisman in the DLC, which just restores FP naturally over time, so eventually you'll get enough no matter what. You don't have to kill things. We're starting off strong. It literally does not need to exist. It's horrifically bad. It's so useless. And you may as well just use better blue pots or have the Blessed Blue Dew Talisman if you have the DLC. Because if you're in a boss fight, you're not getting any advantage from it except for like 2 or 3 bosses. And if you're not in a boss fight, Elden Ring has a fun mechanic where it restores flasks to you when you kill groups of enemies. So guess what you don't need? Mana restored when you kill enemies. It's terrible. The Earthshaker Ash Award. Now, it's not bad, but it is slow, and it does change your attacks, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it changes your attacks. So I'm going to put this at mid because it does decent damage, but the attack format you get is not great. You get different charged heavies that aren't as good. Now, it does, however, work very well in groups of enemies. So it can't be bad because it actually is effective in spots. You get this in a randomizer and you have a, I don't know, really terrible Moog area. Just slam that baby down. It'll probably take care of them in like two hits or something. It's pretty good damage for an AoE, you know? How's it going, Fats? How are you today? Waves of Darkness. This is not the greatest thing in the entire world. However, it is better than the previous one. And the main reason it's better is because not only does it hit 3 times, but the third hit is delayed, which means the first 2 will go off in a pulse, and then the third one will hit slightly after, which will oftentimes kill an enemy or stop them from attacking when they would have been in the middle of an attack. And sometimes it can save you when you're at literally 1 HP in a deathless randomizer that you should have died at because the last hit and you didn't deserve to live. Not that I have any experience with that or anything. I could never. What? I am also excited. I have everything prepared and ready. The only thing I have to do is hit generate, but I'm all ready. I'm very excited. I can't wait. I can't wait. Okay, Axe of Godfrey. First off, it's a colossal weapon, but it's called Axe. Second, it's fine for like stats. It's okay. It probably could have scaled better. It probably could have had something more interesting on the Ash of War. I think the Ash of War is fine. I mean, the Ash of War is fine, but I'm going to put it in mid. I don't think it's particularly amazing. I don't think it's particularly great. I think it's right in that like nice spot of it's fine. You can use it. It has its moment, but there's better things out there. There's also worse things out there. So I would put it mid. Hour half estimate? Yes. Yeah. That's what we said. Yeah. I had to double check what we originally said, which was actually 10 a.m. Eastern for me or 8 a.m. for you. But yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good. I'm pretty sure I can draw this out for like at least an hour. Probably. It depends on when we get to later things where we stand with them, because man, some of these are going to be contentious. I got a feeling I have opinions on some of these that will not be shared by many others. Axe of Godric. Now, I think the Axe of Godric actually suffers from something that is not talked about, which is you find it in Limgrave. And you know what else is in Limgrave? The Nagakiba, the Uchigatana, the Bloodhound's Fang, Iron Balls in Liurnia, but you can get Iron Balls. Like there are so many weapons in Limgrave that are available that are incredible weapons. And I actually don't think the Axe of Godric is as bad as people think it is, but I think it is overshadowed by everything else to the point that people are like, oh, it's horrific, it's trash. Compared to everything else, it's not as good, but it's not that bad. There are things on this list that are significantly worse, including his other weapon you can choose. So we're also going to be putting that at mid. It is below the Axe of Godfrey, but the Axe of Godric is better than that is, and people just think it's worse because they get there and they already have a weapon that's like, oh man, this is so much stronger. And it is, but it's not as bad as other things. Depends how controversial I get. It's true. It's true. You love it with Sigurd and Night Rain? Which one's Sigurd again? Is that who I call Pumbaa? Raider? Okay, yeah, that's who I call Pumbaa. All right, cool. Okay, Bastard Stars. I love Bastard Stars. I love Bastard Stars so much. It is so fun. The Ash of War does crazy poise. It hits in a very wide area. It's not like the best thing in the entire world, but it is very fun. If you play Night Rain, Bastard Stars might be the greatest remembrance, or I guess legendary weapon is what they are, the greatest legendary weapon in that entire game, because you can just press R1s and then random explosions will appear on the boss, and then it'll just do a bunch of poise damage, and then they just poise break, and you just win. It's fucking awesome. I love it. But we're not judging it on Night Rain, so I can't put it into the GOATs. However, I will be putting it at great because it is, I think, one of the best flails. And frankly, there's a lot of good flails out there. I can't wait to do the flail run. There are some really good flails out there, and I'm so fucking excited to use a bunch of them. Holy shit. Always Seekskin. Well, if you and I ever play together and we're both playing Raider, I'm going to make you change because you will be joining the Pumbaa Sisterhood. We all dress in the Pumbaa skin, which is their darkness skin, where they have like, I call it a warthog. Apparently it's not a warthog, which I don't agree with, but you will be joining the Pumbaa Sisterhood. We'll be all wearing that. That's what we do. And then we get 2 colossals, and then we do jump attacks. Like we're playing the drums, but really badly. I wish it wasn't so terrible. I don't even remember it, to be honest, which I think it indicates that it's pretty bad. Okay. The Black Blade. I got problems with this spell. First off, it's horrifically slow. It takes fucking forever to get a cast off. Second, it's called the Black Blade, but that is clearly a red spell. which means if you are a person that happens to do runs where all you use is one color of item in the run, and you do a run using red items, you have to use the black blade. And then you do a run using black items, you can't use the black blade. I don't think it's trash because it does have Death and Death, but I do think it's too slow. I've got issues with the naming scheme of it, and frankly, there are much better spells out there that you could be using with that faith investment, and this is not worth it at all in comparison. But it does do Death and Death, so there is a benefit in a way to using it, even if there's better things out there. Second phase ruins the whole thing. It's fair. It's fair. It's fair. I don't even think we need to talk about this. It's not the only thing that's going to go into there, although there's not many others. But I don't even think we need to talk about this. This is one of the best weapons, not only on this list, but if we did this for every single weapon in the entire game, this would be one of the greatest weapons on the list and would potentially be at the very, very tippy top. It is, first off, a great sword with the good move set. So right off the get-go, starting off strong. Second, the Ash of War does insane damage, and it got boosted with the DLC with Talisman of the Dread, which I don't understand what they were thinking with that, because what the fuck do you mean that you took the best weapon in the game and then you made it stronger? It does crazy poise. It heals you when it hits anything, which means you don't need to worry about dodging boss attacks. You just press L2 over and over and over and over and over again until the boss is dead, because you're going to tank it and heal repeatedly until they are finished and nuked. It's so good. And because that wasn't enough, it also happens to have the ability to heal you when things die around you, which means if you walk into a room in a randomizer and push the L2 button and things are hitting you, not only does everything that gets hit heals you, but everything that dies also heals you on top of the things that are getting hit by the attack. It's insane. It's crazy broken. It's crazy broken. It's so strong. Blood Boon, on the other side, I am not a fan of. I don't think it's particularly good. I know people have told me that you can like aim it, and when you aim it, and it's like on the ground, and they stand in it, then it does a bunch more damage and build bleed up and stuff. Sure. But if you're in a boss fight and you're having to unlock to aim down to throw it onto the ground, I am putting that in mid. I don't think it's great. I think we'll put it above Axe of Godric, but I don't think it is great. Maybe I need to do a run where I play with it a bit more, and maybe I'll appreciate how strong it can be. But if there are all these other blood options that are out there, including other bleed spells, I would rather use anything that is a bit more, requires less like weird finessing to make it work. And like the last time they had something that was weird finessing to make it work, it was the lightning perfume bottles. And those were great because you just had to aim it at the ground and press the button, and then the boss would die. This, you'll get like a little bit of blood buildup, woo, and maybe some damage, and that's kind of it. It's not worth it. It's not worth the effort. How's it going, Mixel? Starting an hour early? How dare you? The world decided that I didn't get to sleep an hour, and you come in here and blame me for it? I'm offended. Is this Burn O Flame? I feel like this is Burn O Flame. Hang on, let me go find. There it is. Burn O Flame. If this is Burn O Flame, it is Burn O Flame. Is this the one? Yes. Burn O Flame. Okay, this might be the first contentious one. Because this, I legitimately think on this list of all these different things, I not only think that it is really good, I actually think it's one of the best spells in the entire game. It is so ridiculously fucking strong. It's so good. If you can get the charged heavy off for it, which is not crazy hard because it will keep going if you get hit. And you also duck attacks, which is also like a side benefit of it too. But not only does the charged heavy continue to do damage after you get knocked out of it, or charged spell, I guess, but it also continues to do damage over time to things around you because there's fire popping up in different areas, and every single one of those does like crazy damage. It's so strong. It can like 3 casts will kill Melania or something if you have the right build. It's not as good as Blasphemous Blade, don't get me wrong, but I genuinely think it is one of the best spells in the entire game. And more people need to use it, but people don't. And I don't know why, but it's so fucking good. It's also fire. And fire's awesome. Fire is so good. Okay. The Carrion Regal Scepter. I cannot put this lower than great. I am not allowed to. It is by default at great because it is a really good staff for basically any spell casting you're going to be doing. I want to say it's among the highest, if not the highest sorcery scaling. So like it has to by default at least being great. I am going to put it above Waves of Darkness. And the reason I'm doing that is not because of his spell casting. It's because it has a really fun version of Spinning Weapon. And I am a big Spinning Weapon fan. Not that I've ever done a run with it yet, because I still plan to, but I'm a big Spinning Weapon fan. And if I can walk into a fight and have the boss go, "Hello, mage, I see you're here to cast spells," and I go, "Ha, no, I'm not," and walk up and just spin my weapon at them like a top to kill them, I am so in. I love Spinning Weapon, so I think this is going at least, it's below Bastard Stars. I have more fun at Bastard Stars, but it's great. I love this staff so much. Most people avoid casting in general. I think that depends on the person, but that's fair. That's fair. You work to get things at the first Sunday goes bonk. I do agree. You do need more work than things that just go bonk for sure. For sure. I do think that a lot of people on the first playthrough do go with a caster build because a lot of people do summons on the first playthrough. But yeah, I would agree that you do need more setup to make them really good. Burno Flame is an example of a spell that is so good even without the right setup that it's still very strong. So Spinning Weapon's too OP. I don't think I've ever used it in Night Rain. I'll have to try it at some point. Death Lightning. It's not as bad as some lightning spells or as bad as some spells in this game. There are spells out there that are significantly worse than this one. But first off, the Death Blight part doesn't matter because it doesn't fucking affect anything at all. I don't even know if it does Death Blight. Hang on. Yes, it does do Death Blight. Yes, it does. It does. But it doesn't matter. Death Blight is fucking stupid. It's horrendous. That part doesn't matter. The only thing that saves this from being thrown in the trash is the fact that it is like a slot machine where you push the button and you don't know how it's going to do. It could hit like 6 of them in a row or none could hit because it's random. Unlike some of the other spells in this that have like defined hitboxes around your character, this one just randomly picks places on the ground that it fires it off to. Why? It's a great question. I don't have the answer to, but yeah, it's dumb. For some reason, they did that with this spell. So I don't know why it's so bad, but it is, unfortunately, this bad. Where you killed Letta with Deathblight. Can you kill Letta with Deathblight? Because she's rot immune. And a lot of the people in that game that are NPCs say that you can kill them with Deathblight, like the Mimic tier, but you can't. So I don't know if you can. On a solo executor, remember rolling double balancers, bleed and frost, the damage felt illegal. That sounds very fun. That sounds great. Dragon King Cragblade. I think this is a great weapon. I don't think it's as good as the other weapons on the list of great, and I think we're verging into mid with this a little bit, but It is good damage, pierce, lightning, both great damage types. The actual Ash of War on it, pretty solid, pretty good. I'm a big fan of it. All in all, it's completely fine, and it's good. It's just not as good as the rest of the things on the great list, but it does do a decent amount of damage still. Even with that, it's still pretty strong overall. She was technically NPC. You could do it too. Yeah. So apparently, even though the NPCs say you can do it to them, you also can't for some reason. And for a lot of them, you can't actually trigger Deathblight on them, even though it says you can. I haven't tested this myself. I know Bryce did a run where he did Deathblight, and apparently it did not work a lot of the time, despite the fact that it says that it should. So I don't know what's up with that. But yeah. Yep, yep, yep. Mm-hmm. All right. Oh man, this one as well. I feel like this is decent in like an NPC fight. I don't even remember the name of this. This is the other one you get from the Remembrance of the Lich Dragon, right? This is, where are you? What's it called? Fortisak's Lightning Spear. That's right. 46 faith to use this thing. I don't think it's as bad as Death Lightning, because Death Lightning is random and has Deathblight, which is completely pointless. So this is at least just pure lightning damage, which is great. And I think in an NPC fight, it's probably pretty decent, but I'm going to put it on the low end of mid, because it's like, if you have the range of selections of options that are lightning options, you should just use all the other good ones. Ancient Dragon's Lightning Strike, Knight's Lightning Spear, for example. There's no point in this, except for maybe an NPC fight. So it's above the other one, but all in all, it's fine. The Giant's Braid is probably the best fire weapon that you can get. In Night Rain, because it's pretty trash in this game, but in Night Rain they made it so when you use the Ash of War, it like erupts different fire things around you, and it's fucking OP, and you can basically just melt the bug or Caligo in like 3 hits. It's disgusting how good it is in that game. In this game, however, I don't know why it's this bad, but it is this bad. I don't know why they couldn't have given it something cooler, given that it is the legendary whip. But it's just like, it has fire damage, it has strike damage, but so does a bunch of other things. It's so much better in every other game, or in the other game. It's just so bad in this one. Friend loves it. It's so, in Night Rain, that weapon is disgusting. It's just terrible in this one. And they should adjust it so it has the thing from Night Rain, because that would actually be viable. It basically is like in Night Rain, they took Birdo Flame, they stapled it on to the Giant's Braid, and then that made it ridiculously good, which shows how good Birdo Flame is and why it's in the GOAT list here, because it was able to make a weapon that is categorically a pretty terrible weapon into one of the most OP fire weapons in the game by just attaching Birdo Flame to it using a stapler. It's so strong in that game, and I wish it was better in this one. Except that it's whip. See, the whip, it's the fact that like the Ash of War is kind of slow and doesn't do enough damage. The whip part is okay, except you can't take a riposte with a whip. I don't know. The Grafted Dragon. If you've heard me talk about the Grafted Dragon, you already know my opinion on this thing in this game. If you haven't heard me talk about it, let me explain to you why this is going to be going into not only throw it in the trash, but at the very, 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 very bottom of it. First off, it is a fist weapon, which you only get access to the one-handed fist part of it, because it's not a paired weapon. Second, if you do get a second one of these, they each individually only have the one-handed fist moveset. They don't turn into a two-handed fist weapon like Starfist or anything. So you never get the ability to use them with the good moveset. Third, the Asha War is trash. It's horrifically bad. And I don't know why they didn't give it the paired moveset for the fist weapon. I don't understand it, but it's so terrible. It's so terrible. Hand of Millennia. I don't know if this is going to be contentious or not, but I think a Hand of Millennia is incredibly mid. It requires, what, 40-something dexterity? You get it after beating one of the hardest bosses in the entire game, and your reward with Hand of Millennia is a worse katana than the majority of other katanas in the game. It's still a katana, so it's still good. Waterfowl is still pretty decent NPCs, if I'm not mistaken, but you also get knocked out of Waterfowl if you get hit by a boss. So, like, what's the fucking point? Like, it's just this should have been up here with like the lifesteal or something from Millennia. Instead, they took it and they threw that into her great rune. It should have had something unique to make it good. Yeah, if it did rot, it could have done rot and bleed, and I think that would have been perfectly serviceable. The lifesteal would have been awesome. Rakshasa poisons through and kills the other waterfowl. Yeah, sounds about right. yeah, sounds about right. Yeah, it's just very. It's not good. It's not terrible because it is a katana at the end of the day. But it's not good, and it's not worth the effort to get it. The Lion Great Bow, though, is in its name. This is a great weapon. It's not as good as the others, but it is above Dragon King's Craigblade. But it is a great weapon. Good damage. The Asha War, which is basically just rain of arrows, also does good damage. It boosts the Radon Great Arrows, which you can purchase, which is fucking awesome. Like, that's super cool. It's just, it's really strong. Is it as strong as an actual normal weapon? No, it's a great bow. But as far as great bows go, aside from Egon's, it's probably the best in the game, right? You can purchase Radon merch. You can. The lady at the round table turns into a Radon fanboy and sells Radon merch. It's true. All those nice things have to have a chip in them. Yep, pretty much. Yeah. Hang on, let me go get a coffee refill, and then we will continue on where I am probably going to make people mad with my opinions on Malekith's sword here. I think Malekith's sword is terrible. It has Destined Death on its Asha War, which is cool, and it does a cool big AoE splashy whatever thing. But there are Colossal Swords in this game that are incredible. And this fails in comparison across all fronts. It is shorter than you think it is. It does holy damage, which is terrible in the base game, decent in the DLC, but it does holy damage, which isn't great. The whole thing is just, it's better than the other things in the Why Is This Bad? Hang on. It's better than the other things here, but it's still not a good sword. in comparison to every other possible colossal sword that exists, with a couple exceptions that are on this list that we will be placing below it. Don't you worry. But it's not a good sword. It's regardless of the fact that it's destined death on the whole Ash of War. It's not a good sword. It just isn't. Marika's Hammer. I actually quite like this thing. I think this thing is great. It's got a good Ash of War on it. It's got strike damage. It's a hammer, which innately automatically puts it into great. And because the Ash of War is a big AoE Holy Splash, it's really good at mitigating groups of enemies. Plus, it's good on NPCs because it knocks them in the air, which is really funny. So, and frankly, who doesn't like to juggle Letta in the air over and over and over and over and over and over and over again because it brings you joy because she was rude to you that one time? Great weapon. Love it. I love it. Meteorite of Estelle. Very mid. I think it's like probably better than a lot of the things in the mid, but it's definitely in the mids. There are ways you can make it work. You can make it so you can like hold the button and then you can poise break a boss if the boss is big enough. But anything that's not the size of Elden Beast, it instantly loses about half, if not 3/4 of the damage and the poise damage that it would do because it's not hitting them as often. You get knocked out of it. So it's just not that great. It's not bad, but it's just not that great. Hang on, I want to change my list here. Let's go with this. Yeah. Moog Spear. Find Night Rain, you can cast it close while it's distract. Yeah. Like Night Rain, if you have summons, I think is probably goes up a couple notches as well because like you're distracted. But as a person that doesn't use summons and as a person that plays a lot of solo, I don't think it's that good. But it's not bad because I know where the niche is where you can make it work. Moog Spear. I personally think that Moog Spear is incredibly overhyped and people love this thing way too much. Stylistically, it looks incredible. I love a trident. I love the fact you get like the blood flame on the end of it. That looks really sick. The Ash of War takes 5 business days to connect because you do have to do all 3 to get the true benefit of it. The weapon itself is a great spear, which is fine, but I'd rather use Serpent Hunter, which is a way better scaled great spear and does way more damage with it. The actual bleed amount on Moog Spear is lower than other options on this list, and frankly, the buff doesn't last long enough. It should last for at least a minute because I need to take a long time to get the Ash to happen. So I should get like a minute, if not longer, of benefit from it. I am putting this in below Handelmania, but above the other things, but it is mid. And I'm not a fan. How's it going, Zook? Too bad Riz of Blood is a Remembrance weapon. If it was, I would put it into throw it in the trash, and you know I would. How's it going? I hate you both. Why are you both like this? Morgoth's Cursed Sword. Now, I know this was nerfed. I've been informed this was nerfed at some point. Let me go see if I can find the nerf. Morgoth's Cursed Sword. Morgoth's Cursed Sword. Values were changed. Scaling values were changed in 1.09. But apparently they upgraded it as well at some point. I don't know, whatever. Anyways, I actually like this thing. I think this thing is underrated and more people need to use it. It's really good. It has a follow-up on the Ash of War. It does a good amount of fire damage. It does a good amount of blood flame with that as well. So you get a good amount of bleed buildup. It has the curved greatsword moveset, which, while not my favorite on certain bosses, Romina is fucking impossible to hit. You ever tried hitting Romina with a curved sword that slashes like this and her body is like kind of angled that way? Fucking impossible. But really good. I really like it. I think that it is overshadowed by things like Bloodhound's Fang, because obviously Bloodhound's Fang is available way earlier. By the time you get to this, you're probably not going to swap because you're going to have the comfort of the Bloodhound Fang Ash of War and stuff. But I do think it is a great weapon, especially in comparison to other things that are on this list. I think it's great. I think it's great. Placidusax's Ruin. If this spell was as good as it is when Placy uses it, I think it would belong right up there. I think it would be one of the strongest spells in the game. It would shred bosses. They would get knocked down. They would be like 2-hit. If it was lore accurate to the move that the boss uses when he attacks you with it, it would be incredible. However, it is not that. It's still decent damage if they're distracted. But I don't understand why it is so bad for how long it takes to get the move off. It is crazy to me that it is so weak in comparison to other spells that, like, Catch Flame or, Burno Flame. Burno Flame does more damage than this, and this takes 4 times as long to get the cast off. And it's wildly inaccurate too. So you're like not hitting with it. I don't understand why it's so bad. I don't get it. I don't get it. The moon. I like the moon. The moon's fun. Now the moon, I don't think this moon does the thing the other moon does, right? Ronaldo's full moon. Does it do the thing the other moon does? I don't think so. Oh, it does. It does dispel any projectile it touches. Okay, sick. It just doesn't do frost damage. Yeah, okay. I think the moon is great. I actually think the moon's really strong. I think the moon, obviously, it has a little bit of a cast animation. You are immune, if I'm not mistaken, during the cast, so you can at least, get the damage off when it's happening. You can use it on PCR to get rid of the projectiles that are coming at you. Really cool. There's other bosses that I know you can get rid of the projectiles on. They just haven't shown up on my TikTok feed, so I haven't seen them because I don't really use spells. But I think this spell's great. There's better spells in the game, but it has its niche. It does its niche very well. Good for Gideon. I believe it. I would believe that. Yeah, I think it is a very good spell that is not talked about enough because people look at the damage and not the side benefit of the absorbing projectiles. And the absorbing projectile part is incredible with this thing, frankly. Rykard's Rancor. I have a soft spot for Rykard's Rancor. How's it going, Saki? How you doing? Good morning.
Hiya, Pachu.
I have a soft spot for Rykard's Rancor. Rykard's Rancor, I think, is one of my favorite spells in the game because unlike with Death Lightning where you're playing the RNG and hoping that it works, this, you play the RNG and hope that it works, but when it does, it's so good and it's way more consistent, especially on a big target. Yeah, as long as it's not used on me. If it's used on me, I'm upset about it because then he bullies me. But I think this is an awesome spell. It's not as good as those, and I don't like it more than Bastard Stars, but I think it is so strong. It's so much fun to use. And if you can get like the Talisman of the Dread and other things that boost your fire damage, and you just like cast it and then you just like watch it go off on the boss and hit them, oh, it's so good. Is your Blood Boon? It might be. Yeah, it's possible. He's very possible. Like, all of these are just my personal views and opinions. Now, they're all the objectively correct personal views and opinions that I have because it's my tier list. But they are all my opinions. Sacred Relic Sword. This has one purpose and one purpose only. And it's not farming Albanorax because everyone does it for that. It is not that. It is melting NPCs. And also, you can use it to melt the ads in like almost any fight. It's not great on bosses, but if you cast the Ash of War, it will just rip through all of them. It is so good at that job. I'm going to put it into great. I think it's like on par with America's Hammer for different purposes. If I'm going for holy damage as like a weapon itself, I'd prefer to have the hammer because it's a hammer. But as far as the Ash of War and its uses, very strong, very strong. It's not as good as other things, but it's still very, very good. Guys and BK Rex both. See, it would, but if I was going, like if I had to pick between these two for guys slash PK, I'd go with the hammer every single time. Because the hammer is a hammer. So it's a better moveset and better poise damage right away. They both have holy, but this has its niche for sure. But my preference would be I'd go for that one over between them. I think they're both very good though. I think they both have their niche for what they're really good at. And I think they're great weapons because of that. Which boss is best? I'm going with Borealis here. If the summon fight wave goal from distance attracts, totally valid. Like I said, this is my list. But totally valid. Scarlet Aeonia. I don't think Scarlet Aeonia is good. But I don't think it deserves to be in Why Is It This Bad? I think it is right there. If you were immune during the Scarlet Aeonia the entire way through, and the bosses couldn't like knock you out of it, maybe they could hit you, but they couldn't like knock you out of the animation, I think it'd be great. But it's, especially compared to a spell that we're going to be getting to in a moment here, comparatively, I would rather have other sources of rot, and this is not the main one. It is very flashy. It is beautiful. I cannot deny that, but I can't list it above mid. I don't think it's as good as other things are that are available that do the same functional thing. Sure, you get the better version of rot, but like, who cares? You know? Who cares? Other things do that too. Yeah. I'm going to do all three of these together. So we're going to go to Wing Greathorn here real quick, and then we'll do all three of these together because I have one opinion for all three of these, and I'm going to state it at the same time. The Wing Greathorn has a very unique Ash of War because it is one of the few debuffs you can actually place on the enemy to reduce their physical damage and damage taken. So it makes it in its way into one-shot builds because it is a unique debuff you can put on the enemy, which is awesome. It's also a great axe, right? Pretty sure it's a great axe, which I love great axes. Wings Greathorn. Let me see. You're a great axe, right? Yeah, it's a great axe. Great axes are good. It could have a different magic type or a different damage type rather than just physical, and that'd be better. It could also scale better. But all in all, I actually think this is a pretty solid weapon. It scales actually, you know what? It scales on both dex and strength at a B. I am putting this at great. I'm putting it below Morgoth's Curse Sword because I think Morgoth's Curse Sword is better. But I actually think it's a really good weapon. I think it's underutilized by most people, including myself. I don't use it to its full potential at all. Comes from some of the most beautiful spells. I do. I also like that too, Zook. I like that some of the most beautiful spells in the game do provide one of the ugliest things. It's a very good balance of them that feels appropriate. More people should use the Wing Greathorn. I think the Wing Greathorn is great. Okay. There are people out there who are going to be very mad at me, and I'm going to explain to you why all three of these weapons, every single one of these weapons, is going right down here. First, Colossal Greatswords should never be paired. Paired weapon movesets in general, when you power stance them, in general are not better. A lot of the time you want a single weapon, you want to two-hand that weapon. There's exceptions to that rule. Curved swords are a good example. Twin blades, you could argue. Reapers, maybe. But for the most part, you want a single weapon. And especially for a colossal sword, you want a single weapon. That's number one. Number two, you can't do a charged heavy with both of these weapons. When you do a charged heavy with one, it swings only the one. It doesn't swing the two of them. And again, if you're using a Colossal Sword, you want the raw power of the charged heavy a lot of the time. Number 3, these weapons, for whatever reason, and I don't know why, but all 3 of these weapons per hit do less poise damage than every other Colossal Sword in the game. And in fact, do less poise damage than many other weapon classes below Colossal Swords in terms of weight, like hammers and fist weapons and so on. So there is all the benefit that you would get from using these weapons is gone. The only thing that these are remotely okay for is their Ash of War. And even then, their Ash of Wars barely do any damage. The only one that's remotely decent is Radon from the base game's Ash of War, because you can do like the rawr thing and then you like suck people in and like you can hit them or whatever. But even that, like there's better things you can use out there instead. And if you're having to wear these weapons, you need crazy amounts of endurance to be able to have these on your back. So you need not only the stat investment to be able to use them, but then the stat investment for the endurance so you can actually roll with them. And then if you're doing like, you may as well just have gone with all those stats with a different build and been way stronger and better. They are trash. They should be buffed like crazy because they're fucking horrendous as it is. Get them out of my game. Only people like these do it for the fashion. It's possible because I think they're absolutely fucking awful. They are terrible. Terrible. Bale's lightning thing. I forget what it was. Flame lightning, I think it's called. I think this is a high-end mid. I don't think it's great. There's better things out there, again, for the stat investment that you can go for, but it is flashy, it is fun, it does good damage, it's very slow, which is unfortunate, but for the balance of damage to flashiness to stat investment is a good balance between them. It's high-end mid. It's high-end mid because of those. If it required less stat investment, but it still did the same amount of damage, it'd probably be a bit too broken and it would be great, but I think it's high-end mid. Yeah, 53 arc is a huge ask. Midra's Flame of Frenzy. Why is it as bad as it is? There are way better frenzy spells in the game. The Frenzied Burst spell, for example, Flame of Frenzy, for example. Why is this so bad? It requires, if I'm not mistaken, a huge amount of faith to wield it. Hang on. $41 faith to wield it. And it's too slow. It barely does damage. The tick rate is terrible on it. I don't understand why it's so bad. It should have been way better. It's very similar to Plassey's Lightning, where what you get for what it's supposed to do doesn't feel worth it, and it could have been way stronger. I don't like it. I wish it was better. Great Sword of Damnation. I have gone on record, and I will stay on record. I think this sword is not only overrated for being the PvP killer because you can do the flashy, like stabbing them ahead, big thing go out. I not only think that it's overrated, I actively think that people using it are using something worse than just going with great axes and pressing R1s. Now, I don't actually PvP, so I'm not ranking it on PvP. I am ranking it on PCs. Okay? I'm ranking on NPCs. And on NPCs, it's not good. There are way better things out there. It does, as Adam said, it does have the Claymore moveset, so I'm not going to rank it low. It does decent damage. It's not going to go into why is it this bad, but it is not a great weapon. It is very mid, and it is overhyped, much like Moog Spear. It's overhyped for what it does, and there are better options out there that are cleaner, faster, and more efficient. It's fun on NPCs. I don't even think it's fun on NPCs. I've used it on NPCs many times, and I actually don't think it's particularly fun on them because if you miss that attack, which you will because they will inevitably dodge you, you miss a weapon. The Great Sword of Damnation, Midra's weapon. And again, this is my list. Now, it is the definitively correct list and 100% accurate in all things that are being said. And this is the one true list that will be forever emblazoned in history as the correct ranking. But it is my list. Staff of the Great Beyond. Fantastic. I don't think it's as good as Renala's staff because Renala's staff does have spinning weapon, and I'm a sucker for spinning weapon. But Staff of the Great Beyond is fantastic. Spell casting, int casting, I guess I should say sorceries. Sorcery casting, int casting, right? Scales on both faith and and int, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to double check this now because I want to make sure. Hang on. Because I'm doubting myself now. Yeah, use it for both. Scales on both of them. Like, it is such, if you want to go into like a spell casting build, it's so good. Yeah, sorceries and incants in one is so much fun. So much fun. You get Golden Vow as a sorcery build now. Oh, awesome. Awesome staff. It is not the best scaling staff in comparison to other things. There are things that are better for a hyper specialization, but as a generic, I want to do a bunch of things and play with a bunch of different tools and have a lot of things in my arsenal. Awesome. Awesome. I wish all the madness stuff was just better. I wish that his madness stuff was better because there's madness stuff in the base game that is so good. But his is like, why? You know? Rotten Butterflies. This spell is what Scarlet Aeonio wishes it was. It is, and it was buffed. It was so trash before. It was so bad before. Rotten Butterflies is one of the best ways to get Rod off in a fight. If you can spec into it with some faith and arcane, I think, or is it just faith? Hang on. Rotten Butterflies. Just faith. If you can spec into it for some faith, it does great damage relative to what you're going to be doing with it. It is guaranteed to pretty much rot them from one cast from most bosses, even things that have like a decent amount. 33 faith. It was 33 faith. This is a great spell. This is legitimately a great spell. It definitely goes above the moon. I don't like it as much as some of the other things on this list. I think the other things are more fun, but it is a really solid spell to have. You should 100% have it in your arsenal if you can, because it's just good. And it's really pretty, which is not required for this list, but you know, a pretty cool side benefit. Pretty cool side benefit. Pretty cool side benefit. Pole Blade of the Bud. My opinion on this is currently stated in chat as the pinned message, which is this weapon is the definition of mid, which means it's going to stay in the middle of all of these mid weapons the entire time. Whenever one gets put above, another one gets put below, because this is the mid. It'll move up depending on it's mid. It's the bad halberd moveset, but it's a halberd, so it's okay. It's the bad version of rot, but it's rot, so it's okay. It's got an Ash of War that does damage. It's okay. It's incredibly mid. There's like I would rather use almost everything else on this list, but it's also better than a lot of things on this list. It is middle of the road the entire way through. Supposed to be what ends the world. How it's supposed to burn the world down. I think if you try certain things with the Madness build, you'll see the strength. Like Flame of Frenzy is really good if you can get that built into it. The Frenzied Burst might be one of the most OP weapons, especially for like sniping things from across the map. It's kind of gross how far it goes. Some of the weapons are really good. Some of the weapons are really strong. Highly recommend those. Shouldn't say causes Scarlet Rot, should say causes midness. I agree. It's so mid. So mid, incredibly mid. Spirit of the Impaler. I haven't used it enough to say how I feel about it. I do think the charged heavy being a throwable charged heavy that creates mesmer fire at the base, very cool. But I don't think it's a great weapon. I just think that it's kind of mid. I would put it above. I'd probably put it high end of mid, I think. I think there are better things out there, but I also think that there are weaker things out there. I like that you can boost it with the smithing talisman, the Smith script talisman. I think that's neat. But yeah, it's fine. I think there's better great spears out there too, is the other problem. Land of Shadow. I wish I knew what they were thinking with this. It is horrifically bad. It does no damage. It requires an insane amount of faith to wield it. Let me see. Land of Shadow requires 58 faith to wield it. It is just why did they create it? What is the purpose? It doesn't do anything it's supposed to do, and frankly, I think it is undertuned like crazy, kind of like the original version of Rain of Fire was. It's so bad. I don't get it. Blades of Stone. This might be the best gravity spell in the entire game and one of the best spells available. This, if you haven't used Blades of Stone, it is insane how strong it is. Not only does it do crazy, it does require 48 in whatever you're going to do it in build anyways. Not only does it do crazy damage that can get boosted by the meteor staff and stuff. I'm pulling up info to make sure I say it correctly. Boosted by the meteorite staff, but also it chases bosses like nobody's business. You cast this and a boss starts to move out of the way, it'll just follow them. And it doesn't it's not like follow, like it's like hit here, hit here, hit here. Like it straight up chases them the whole way. It's so good. If you haven't tried it, give it a shot. It's an incredible spell that is way stronger than it seems like it's going to be when you first start using it. Once you start playing with it, you start understanding how powerful it is, and oh my god, is it good. Sword Lance, another great weapon. I think Sword Lance, the Ash War that comes on it is very fun. We're not evaluating it on that. I'm evaluating it based off the sword. It's got good poise damage. It's got pierce damage. It's the only weapon on this entire list that is, in fact, a smithing stone weapon, which means you can change the Ash of Wars that are on it, unlike everything else on this. So it is malleable for the right fight. It's it's one of the goats on this list for sure. Gaius is everything that Gaius gives you is just so strong. It's great. Putrescence Cleaver. I think Putrescence Cleaver is fine. Also, I need to move that up. I think Putrescence Cleaver is completely fine. It's on the higher end of fine, but it is just fine. It gets frost. It's a great axe. Nifty, but the great axe hits in a very short range, and the Ash of War is kind of butt cheeks, to be frank. The Ash of War just, you're not hitting with that at all. Also, I'm realizing I have things on here twice. Well, that's unfortunate. Apparently I did add them, but for some reason, can I remove these? No, I can't. Okay, we'll just ignore these two. These don't matter because they're already over here. This is a great Ash of War. You can charge it. You can get a bunch of damage off with it. It's basically a way better version of Hoarfrost Stomp, and Hoarfrost Stomp was nerfed like crazy, so this is a really good alternative. It's great. I really like this one. I think you'd have a good time with it if you use it. It's good. Enraged Divine Beast Talisman, also great. Another really good talisman that boosts really good things and is very strong if you use it in the right build. It is awesome. Both of those are really, really solid choices if you have a build that can use them. If you don't have a build that can use them, they fall down a bunch of tiers. But if we're talking about using it in your build, they're both very good. They both are, especially the talisman. The talisman boosts some, you know what? I'm gonna put the talisman above. The talisman boosts some crazy strong stuff that I think was already good without it, and this just makes it that much better. So like, use it if you have a build that needs it, you know? I don't understand what they did with this one. It's not as bad as some, but it's not good. It could have been better. It should have done more damage. It's probably the best of the Putrescence ones, which isn't saying much because the Putrescence ones are like not great. Frankly, they're just not great. But it's fine. It's just not amazing. Maybe I put it in mid. No, I think I still leave it in wise this bad. I just don't understand why they couldn't have made it stronger than what it currently is. It should have been more damage, maybe more frost damage. Maybe it should have hit more. Actually, was this one better? Hang on. This might be, well, I might be thinking of the wrong one. Hold. Putrescence. Wait. No, it's massive Putrescence. I'm thinking that's the bad one. Never mind. This is the mid one. This one is totally fine. Is it good? No. But it's very mid. It's very mid. It is, it's probably there. It's kind of like Scarlet Aeonia. Ooh. Rolana's Swords. Rolana's Swords. I think they're mid. I don't think they're as good as they should be. I think their Ash of War is kind of neat and does some damage, but there's better things out there. I don't like the paired moveset. Again, I would rather just have Milady or Letta's Sword. I know I would like Letta's Sword more than this. They're stat hungry. They don't scale as well as they should with all the stats. Anvil Hammer is a great example of a weapon that scales with a bunch of stats and is really good because of that. Because the damage output at the max end is crazy good. These don't get anywhere near that. Yeah, lean into magic or fire. Yep. Yeah, no, I don't know. Style-wise, incredible. I do think they look stylistically awesome, but they ain't it. The finger. I think the finger is on the low end of great. I don't think it's as good as other stuff on this list, but it is still a very strong weapon. It's a colossal weapon. We love a colossal weapon. The charged heavy is the slam down in front, which is kind of fun. The Ash of War does decent damage and knocks NPCs up. I think the finger is better than a lot of stuff that we've seen, but not as good as a lot of the higher end of things. And it's a colossal weapon. Who doesn't love a colossal weapon? Ooh, on Letter and Friends is a good time. I believe it. I believe it. Sunflower. I don't think the Sunflower deserves to be in the GOATs, but the Sunflower is awesome. I fucking love the Sunflower so much. It is a colossal weapon. It's got a decent Ash of War, but it's stylistically beautiful. Charged heavy's great. I love it. I think it's a great weapon and does good damage. How's it going, Dan? Does it really shine? The Sunflower? Yes, it does. It does shine. Light of Mikola. Now, unfortunately for Light of Mikola, you do get it after beating PCR, which is more than likely the last boss you're fighting in the entire game. Also, the Light of Mikola is probably not going to be able to be used on the majority of fights or bosses in the entire game. Probably. But it's real good still for like clearing out a room. It's not gonna end the goats for sure, but it is definitely a great spell. If you're using it in like a dungeon on New Game Plus and you just like cast the tactical nuke in a room, it's just going to destroy everything in that room, and then you can walk through, and then you cast it in the next room, and then it destroys everything in that room, and then you walk through, and then it's really good at what it does, but it's not good on bosses, with some exceptions. I think some bosses you could probably make it work on, but for the most part, it's not going to be good on bosses, like at all. So, but it is still very good. It is still very good. The Twin Moons. Good at clearing rooms, but not bosses. Exactly. Exactly. The Twin Moons. If these, number one, you couldn't be poised out of, or you couldn't be knocked out of, if you could poise through stuff, would be amazing. That's number one. Number two, if they did good damage, they would also be amazing. Number three, if they knocked up bosses so that the boss was incapacitated, they would also be amazing. Unfortunately, they don't do any of those. So I don't understand why they're so bad. I don't know why the game or why the developers hate this spell, but they really seem to. I don't get it. It's a very weird take for them to do it with this. I don't know what is up, why they can't make this better. All three of these. I don't know why they can't make these better. They should make all three of those better. Bale's Tyranny. I like Bale's Tyranny better than I like Bale's Lightning. I think Bale's Tyranny does crazy damage. It does a big AoE around you with that damage, so you don't have to be hyper specific. It is a crazy stat investment, but like Light of Mikola, I think for what it does in the areas that it does it, it's incredible. Really good at clearing a room, really good on certain bosses. It's weak on a lot of other things, but very good on the things that it's really good on. Very, very good. Big fan of it. Only use it on Gideon and in one shot him, but it's Gideon. Old Man Godfrey causes it to get off the ground for the stomp. So the other moons, and the other moons absorb projectiles, which that one doesn't. And then our final one, because again, these two I added those a second time by accident. Our final one, Mesmer's Orb. Mesmeric Orb? Is that what it's called? Whatever. Mesmer's Orb. I think this is super, super, super mid. I think it's super mid. I think it does a decent job at what it's trying to do, but it's slow. It's stylistically cool, but the explosion is whatever. But you know what? I'd put it above. I'll put it there. I'll put it beside Bale's Tyranny. Yeah. I think there's other options out there that are better fire damage, better spells that are slow. Overall, this is just fine. And yeah, that's all of them. That's the list. That's every single one. That is every single remembered spell, weapon, and talisman correctly ranked, accurate to a T. This is the epitome, the perfect list of all of the rankings. This is objectively correct. If you disagree, I mean, let me know in the comments, but objectively, this is correct. Objectively.